Death has always been one of the greatest mysteries of human existence. We fear it. We avoid thinking about it, yet it stands as the one certainty we all must face. To most, death seems like the end of everything. Our thoughts, our relationships, our identities, our very sense of me. But what if death is not an end but a doorway? What if what we call ending is simply a transition into another form of life that the limited mind cannot yet comprehend? If we look closely, we see that endings are never truly final. The night does not kill the day, it only hides it until sunrise. A seed does not vanish when it breaks, it transforms into a tree. The river does not die when it merges with the ocean, it only loses its name. Death, then, may be part of this same universal rhythm, where every ending secretly hides a beginning. The fear we feel about death arises because we identify only with the body and the mind, both of which are temporary. But behind this temporary form lies something deeper, an essence that is not bound by time. That essence existed before our first breath and will remain after our last. To ask whether death is an end or a beginning is really to ask, who are we beyond the body? If we are only flesh and thought, then yes, death ends us. But if we are more, if we are spirit, awareness, or light, then death cannot end us. It can only change the form through which we continue our journey. We often see death as a wall, a point beyond which nothing exists. This is the illusion of finality, created by the limits of our perception. The human mind is trained to measure life through beginnings and endings. Birth marks the start, and death seems to mark the finish. But if you look deeply at nature, you find that nothing truly ends. Everything transforms. The leaf that falls in autumn decays into the soil, feeding new life in the spring. The star that explodes as a supernova scatters its elements across the universe, and those elements become part of new worlds, new suns, even new bodies like ours. In truth, what we call death is simply a shift in form, a change of state. It is our fear of losing control and identity that paints it as destruction. But what if the body is just a garment worn by the soul for a short while? When the garment wears out, it is laid aside, yet the wearer continues. The illusion of finality comes from mistaking the garment for the wearer, the wave for the ocean. When we realize that life is not limited to this physical shell, death begins to lose its terror. Instead of a wall, it appears as a threshold. A threshold can be frightening if we do not know what lies beyond it, but it is also a passage, a doorway into new dimensions of being. Perhaps death does not end our story, but carries it forward into a chapter we have not yet read. To see death this way transforms fear into curiosity and grief into reverence for the mystery that carries all life forward. If we look beyond the surface of physical life, we begin to sense that what we truly are cannot be confined to the body. The body changes constantly, cells die and are replaced, thoughts come and go, emotions rise and fade, yet something within us remains untouched. That unchanging awareness, the silent witness behind all experiences, is what many traditions call the soul. If the soul is the core of who we are, then death cannot destroy it. Death only releases it from its temporary container. Just as a traveler changes clothes without losing their identity, the soul sheds the body and continues its journey. Countless people who have had near-death experiences speak of a profound sense of peace, light, and recognition when the body stops functioning. They describe a state more vivid than waking life, where fear vanishes and truth feels immediate. Could it be that death is not the end, but the unveiling of what was always present? Our attachment to the body blinds us to this continuity, but deep within, we all sense that something of us is eternal. Dreams themselves are small glimpses of this reality. Every night, the body rests as if lifeless, yet consciousness continues to travel, experience, and return. Death may be a greater dream, a departure into an expanded dimension of being. The continuity of the soul reveals that what we call life is only one chapter in an infinite story, a single note in a cosmic song that never ends. To see death as a continuation rather than an erasure changes everything. It opens the heart to courage, softens the fear of loss, and allows us to live more fully, knowing that nothing essential is ever truly lost. When we shift our perspective, death begins to reveal itself not as destruction, but as transformation. Every stage of existence carries within it a change of form. The caterpillar dissolves into a chrysalis before becoming a butterfly. The seed cracks open and dies to its old shape so that it can rise as a tree. If we judge these moments only from the outside, they would appear tragic. The caterpillar is gone. The seed is broken. But in truth, they have been transformed into something greater, something more complete. Death may follow the same hidden law. What appears to us as the end of the body may, in a deeper sense, be the unfolding of the soul into a wider dimension of reality. This is why so many spiritual traditions describe death not as annihilation, but as a return, returning to the source, to the ocean of being, to the home we never truly left. For those left behind, death feels like loss, but perhaps what we lose is only the form, not the essence. Just as the setting sun disappears from one horizon only to rise on another, death may simply be the movement of life from one field to another. If we can learn to see death as transformation, then grief itself softens. Instead of clinging to what is gone, we can honor the mystery of what is becoming. Our fear is replaced with trust, our sorrow with reverence. For transformation is never destruction. It is the secret of all creation. And in that recognition, death loses its sting. For we see it not as the end of life, but as the hidden continuation of life in another form. So, is death an end or a beginning? The truth is, it is both and yet beyond both. It is the end of the form we have known, the roles we have played, the temporary vessel of body and thought, but it is also the beginning of a deeper unveiling, a movement into a reality that our limited senses cannot yet fully grasp. To call death an end is only half the story, just as calling night the end of the day forgets the certainty of dawn. To call it a beginning is closer to the truth, for it marks the soul's passage into a wider horizon. But perhaps the deepest answer is that death is neither end nor beginning. It is transition. It is the rhythm of existence itself, the way life renews and reshapes, always flowing forward without ever being destroyed. What we truly are cannot die, because what we truly are was never born in the first place. The body was born, the name was born, the story was born, but the essence behind them has always been. Death only strips away what is temporary, revealing what is eternal. If we can embrace this, fear dissolves and life itself becomes more precious. Every moment is seen as sacred, every breath as a gift, because we know that nothing is wasted, nothing is lost. Death is not the enemy of life. It is its hidden partner, reminding us that existence is infinite and our journey is unending. In the silence beyond the final breath, perhaps we do not fall into nothingness, but awaken into the boundless beginning we have always carried within us.